And we are live. This is Toni Weel from Florida. Sunny? No, not really. Rainy once in a while. We need it. The grass is getting green again, so it starts looking so pretty. We have a topic today. It's like, I don't even know where to start, but let's start telling everyone who is with us today, because I don't really want to forget that. That is Sara from Virtuous Unicorns. Katie, soon moving to, well, I cannot say really nearby, but now it's only an hour and a half, no, a day. It's probably
Mm.
about a day driving there. And Gary. Gary is, did we figured it out yesterday? I think it was 2,000 miles away from me.
Yeah, I'm in
Anyway, not important, but someday I hope that we can all four get together at some point and meet in real life because we became great friends over the years, talking about all these health things and many other things. Well, everything part of life is also about part of your health and part of feeling good. And that gets me into a topic that I started thinking about, a week or so ago. And then the last few days, it's like, okay, what is important here to share? And about supplements. Who didn't take them? It's and spend a ton of money on it. I did for a long, long, very long time. And supplements were so important to me. And I think I mentioned that before too. It's like they would go before, if I didn't have a lot of money, I would buy my supplements before I would buy food because I thought they were so important. Now, what was I thinking? I'm nowadays I am like, how could you be so, I don't know, ignorant maybe? Because when you think about it, it doesn't really make sense. But 6 years ago, I needed to hear Dr. Morse say, it's like it's all isolated chemistry. Your body doesn't even recognize it. So we think that we take something that will benefit our bodies, only to realize it's no, that is not really what the body needs. And over the years, I've talked to a lot of people about supplements, and one important part actually came from Mariah, and she made a post in one of the Facebook groups once, and I will read it to you guys in a minute. But it's like when you think about it, isolated chemistry. It's not a food anymore. If you say, yeah, it's all natural, well, anything can be called natural, and if there are no chemicals added. But if you take a part out of a food or a fruit, then it's not natural anymore. And I honestly I can't say that I know about a lot about chemistry. It was not really my kind of thing when I went to school. By the way, I went to an all-girls school, and that's where they thought girls didn't need to know anything about chemistry. So it never happens. It never. But then, with Dr. Morse, I started reading more about it, and it's like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. And believe me, I was probably spending like $500 a month easily on just supplements, the whole alphabet, and of course then all the multi vitamins too, and all the minerals and nano minerals and whatever else. And it seemed like every chiropractor, or if it was from medical medium to Dr. Berg, Dr. Bergman, it seems that everyone, no, not Dr. Bergman, I that wouldn't be honest to say that, but all the others did. They have their own supplements with their own name on it, and it's a good money maker. And it was like what Gary mentioned just before we started, who owns the supplement companies, and that's interesting. So I let Gary talk about that. Anyway, if any of you guys want to jump in with experiences or something that you want to say, then please do. Like I said last time, I'll be quiet for 2 seconds and then you have a chance.
Well,
Took
I've
a-
never been good at taking
Hmm.
anything, even like back in the day. I don't think I ever finished antibiotics. I never finished anything. I've always been terrible at taking supplements, um, vitamins. I remember way back in the day, like we loved the Flintstone vitamins as kids, and it was crazy because like we all wanted like the orange one or something like that. But yeah, I've always been terrible at it, and I guess that's a good thing. So.
Yep, it
I
was.
have, yeah, I've spent a fortune on some herbs and stuff like that. And I did take some herbs when I first got with my naturopathic doctor back in, oh, I don't know, like kind of early 2000s. And so after that, like my asthmatic symptoms did go away. And but yeah, I mean, that was like every time you walked in there, it was like $300-400. And then she's still sitting there like cooking fish and eating like a well-balanced, meat diet. And I remember I was going to go to her, like her school and everything she went to, because that's when I was really starting to get into wanting to be like a naturopathic doctor. And it just never synced with me. And now I know why, because that wasn't the path. So thank goodness I've never been good with follow through on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the biggest manufacturer of vitamins is owned by Big Pharma. And it's really difficult for me to trust a vitamin because most of them don't even dissolve. I mean, the best thing you can do when you buy a vitamin is just take it and put it in a glass of water and see if it dissolves, if it starts to break apart. Because if it's not breaking apart in that glass, it's not going to break apart in your body, and it'll just pass through. And it's a really, really expensive thing to take a vitamin that's not going to dissolve in the body, and it just passes through, and it does nothing, and it does very little, as far as I'm concerned, to help the body. If you really want to help the body, learn to breathe deep breaths. Get out in the sunlight, which they tell us not to do. They don't teach us how to breathe. Um, Hydrate with some live liquids. Cut back on or eliminate all processed foods, which is difficult. I look at uh, these gas station convenience stores. They're actually food deserts. There's nothing in there. It's all the same color, and that is kind of a vanilla color to brown. And so they're all baked, they're all fried, they're all whatever they are. They're and there's seed oils. I mean, there's all kinds of things, right? So when you learn to breathe and activate the body will take care of everything else. Its wisdom is way beyond us. Uh, I was going through some of my notes. I was looking for my herbal book that I'm writing, but I can't find it right now. So anyway, when we are at work, working hard in the matrix, we are working in a program that lowers our creativity because the program does not allow creative flow. So it must lower our uh, imagination to maintain the health of the program, not the health of the person. So, and the awards that are given for such things as the top of the head that the public gets to see are actors and actresses teaching the programs to the people about how to act and react to what we see and we feel, and they're doing the same thing with vitamins. They're actually programming us that we can't live without them. But what did people do 100 years ago? There might have been some things around, it was mostly snake oil and that kind of stuff. And it's kind of refined itself into the new version of snake oil, as far as I'm concerned. Uh, we should be getting our minerals and nutrition and uh, enzymes and electrolytes and everything that makes our body work physically from what grows in nature. And we're taught that, I've watched videos where the people in charge of, supposedly in charge of our health, we're in charge of our health, not out there, right? They're purposely, as far as I'm concerned, taking away, like being grounded to the earth. They're stealing our breath through fear and frustration and anxiety and all these different things that come up. And that's what's making us sick. And the breath is the link between the conscious and subconscious. And when we learn to breathe, those will unite. And where do they land? In the heart. And the heart, the frequency of the heart is controlled through the vagus nerve. And that is controlled through our breath. We have a little spot in the vagus nerve. And when we breathe, the frequency of our breath, whether it's a healing breath, a fear breath, an anger breath, when it goes down through, it activates that. And it changes your heart rate, your heart rate variability. I don't see a vitamin doing that. So I'm not saying that you should, if you have comfort and you feel that your vitamins are doing what you need, it's probably a placebo effect. But that doesn't mean that you should stop as long as you feel good. Myself personally, I don't do vitamins. I've done tinctures, herbs. I'm a big guy on herbs, but you don't do herbs forever. You do them on a limited basis, just like medication. You shouldn't be on medication for the rest of your life, because if the medication was working, you wouldn't have to take it. You wouldn't have to have it refilled. So it's obviously not working. And it's time for us to step up inside ourselves and take control of our breath and take control of everything that is going on around us. Because if we're not going to do that, if we don't control our breath, somebody else is. And if they control your breath, they're causing most likely fear, which is shallow breathing. And that puts us, the vagus nerve, into the sympathetic, activates the sympathetic nerve, which is fight or flight. And until you get your breath and your other things under control, vitamins and things like that are not really, they're not going to really help you as far as I'm concerned. The sun takes cholesterol and transfers it into vitamin K2. And that is a balance for the body. It will lower the cholesterol. And for men that have high cholesterol, donate blood. And your body will make new blood and it will lower your cholesterol. You don't have to be on pills. You don't have to be on all these vitamins to do all these things, or statins or all this stuff. We need to breathe, hydrate, create a good story of infinite possibilities. And our body will take care of the rest of it. Some good hydration. I mean, it's amazing what the body can do. Okay, I'm going to stop.
Yeah, it's creating the right circumstances.
Yes.
And but with the I was always thinking about, how can you put the sun in a pill? But it's more about what that pill or that vitamin D does in your body, and then gives you the idea when they do a test that, oh yeah, now you have the correct levels of vitamin D. I
Yes.
I don't I cannot at this point with what I learned, I cannot even take it seriously anymore.
Mm.
I was just going through a part in Dr. Morse's book, which we refer to quite a bit. He has on page 75 of his book, for the people who don't know it, it's called the Detox Miracle Source Book, by Dr. Robert Morse. And module 3.5, it's the vitamins, the coenzymes. He talks about vitamins. Too much vitamin supplementation causes acidosis. Well, I personally experienced that. Vitamin C is acidic. It leaches out calcium and lowers beneficial cholesterol. I experienced that too because I broke a bone, the strongest bone in the body, thinking that with everything that I was taking, and I was not only taking vitamin C a lot, high doses, but also taking calcium pills. Well, it worked completely against by what you would think it would do. Do not megadose anything, especially oil-soluble vitamins. Supplementation or separated constituents can lead to imbalances in your body's chemistry. And that is what we're doing. We're adding things to the body that normally wouldn't be there. And then, I usually say, think about how did humanity get to this point without all this stuff? I mean, we didn't make it this far, but now we only see that there are more problems and more ways to waste our money on things that the body don't really need. And we can simplify it by eating. First of all, eating the correct stuff, doing everything that we need, the breathing, the being out in nature, whatever is needed to feel good and be healthy. But we still choose to take a pill. And I have to admit that there was a point that I was like, if I would only could take a pill and I didn't have to eat anymore, I would be fine. Because I had an emotional eater. I had a hate-love relationship with food. And that is actually going throughout my life, like in a way you feel that food is not making you good, but you're not aware that you're not eating the right foods, and that you feel bloated and so many other symptoms besides, adding all these vitamins that are not helping you. He also says that artificial vitamins accumulate in your tissues, causing obstructions and toxicity. And now I come to what Mariah wrote. And if Mariah ever hears this, I am so sorry, but I forgot your last name. And Mariah has actually been on our podcast. I think it's a year or 2 years ago now. But she wrote about why supplements harm. Supplements do not heal the root cause as to why one is experiencing health issues or symptoms to begin with, and supplementing just in case is a sure way to create imbalances within. Sure, someone can gain temporary relief from taking supplements. However, then that individual is reliant on these supplements for a lifetime, because as soon as they stop taking them, the symptoms return. That only means that the symptoms were suppressed, like pharmaceuticals do. When you start a medication, it's going to be for life. They don't tell you, it's for 3 months, and then what we say with, some herbs, and then you reevaluate. No, they tell you right away it's for the rest of your life. Who hasn't heard that? I mean, I did many times. Even after I had a heart attack and I needed to be on Coumadin, a blood thinner that almost killed me, I was like, that's not going to happen. There should be other ways. And there were. Supplements do not heal anything, she writes. Supplements suppress symptoms and act as a band-aid effect, because if you take it, you don't make it, and they can cause the body to become dependent on an outside source, while never truly healing the actual cause as to why one would feel the need to supplement for anything to begin with. If you use supplements, this can cause the body to become lazy, so to speak, and the body will no longer produce that substance within natural, because you're introducing it into the body unnaturally. There's hardly any symptom or health issue that the body cannot correct and heal on its own. In time, we just need to learn how to live and eat in a way that allows the body to do what it was designed to do. When we adopt a health-promoting lifestyle, the body will heal in time. The issue is that we want to results faster than they come about. The body heals at its own pace, and for some, this can mean years. For myself, Mariah writes, I didn't care how long it was going to take because I knew that after 35 years of eating foods that were the cause of my health issues, it was going to take time to reverse. So here I am, 8 years later at 43, and I can honestly say that I feel better health-wise than I did in my 20s. As a collective, we are living and eating so far from our natural design that it is not surprising with how almost everyone is suffering to various degrees. And once again, the most health degenerating, disease forming foods that humans eat in the world today is dairy, milk from another species, and eggs. If you experience any symptoms, relief comes from supplying the body with what is truly requires the way nature intended. Symptoms are messengers that reveal truths that so many of us do not wish to address, and that is that we are not living and eating in the way that we were designed as a species to do so. Supplements, pharmaceuticals, vitamins, powders, isolates, etc. are not a true solution. Such just a temporarily band-aid, and the issue will still be there for you to deal with later on. So this is about how supplements can actually harm you. And I always thought, well, it won't hurt, but not even realize that you add something to your body the body can't even use, doesn't know what to do with it. And actually, when it comes to it, it creates an imbalance. Now, with Mariah, let me see, because you can find her on definitely on Facebook. But let me see, because she goes under the name. I have to find it, of course. I have it in email. God, I think you do need to know that. She is on Mariah Heal Thyself. So if you would type that in on Facebook, you can find more of her writings. I know her writings are also in Telegram. And you spell Mariah with M-A-R-I-A-H. Heal Thyself. She has a lot of great information, and yeah, look it up. This was just one of the things that I saved because I just wanted to have that information because she worded it absolutely great, and we talked about this many times already about supplements. So Dr. Morse also in that same book on the same page goes into vitamin A, B1, B2, and a whole bunch of others. Starts at page 75. Vitamin D3, B5, B6, B9, B12, B13, 15, 17. Vitamin C, D, E, F, H, K. We even have a P and a T and a U. And then choline and inositol and PABA. But he also puts in there, and I think this is so important for everyone to know because we always think, where can we get it from? Get this book, really. You find it on Amazon. You can even find it used. There are several sources if you type it in. And he always gives what exactly does it do in the body, the vitamins, where do you find it? It's like with the one that pops up now is vitamin E. It oxygenated tissue, reduces need for oxygen intake, reproductive organs, heart, protects cell membranes. The best resources, not the things that I would, some of them, is unprocessed and unrefined vegetable oils, raw and sprouted seeds, nuts, green leafy vegetables, so we definitely get that. Brown rice, wheat germ, peas, lettuce, here's another good one. Spinach, also great in asparagus. Oh, broccoli, asparagus, and avocados. So you just pick the things that you do eat. I'm not going to say, oh, you need vitamin A and now you need the unrefined vegetables. You never need the vegetable oils. And with nuts and seeds, yeah, a few, and best is sprouted. So be careful with that. The vitamins B, there is a lot of talk about, like vegan needs extra vitamin B. Well, I can tell you that there are even more meat eaters that seems to be low on the vitamin Bs. But when you get this book, you get a better insight as in where would you find what everybody tries to sell you in all these capsules, and you can find it in food. And when you eat a variety of fruits and a variety of the leafy green vegetables, you get what you need. But you do have to do it every day and not be like I did, the only once in a while greens because I didn't like greens. I like the fruit better. You need both. And Gary even talked about it. You need a variety. We have discussed that even, Gary. Like I said, I do like the mono fruit because to me it's not natural that you would go from one tree or bush to the next one to make sure that you get all the colors. It's like, but what I do is one fruit per meal. And so, but that works for most people. So now I be quiet.
It's yeah, it's amazing because with our minds are so busy that we can't hear our body speak to us. And that's part of what breathing is about and hydration to lower the anxiety or whatever it is that we're feeling that's pulling us out, and our attention is out here so much that we're not listening to our body. And once we slow down, slow our breath down, slow down uh, our minds, the body will be able to speak to us again. And the more we do it, because I mean, I work with some people their bodies are actually become numb rather than pain. It becomes numb. And as you breathe and you get that circulation going and get that lymphatic system working again, the digestive system, and so when we inhale through our nose, we exhale through our mouth longer than we inhale through our nose. It pulls the blood from our limbs, which is fight or flight, because we have to run, hide, freeze, whatever we're going to do. Okay. It pulls the blood back into the core so the digestive system works right. The heart rate variability is from the vagus nerve. So as that vagus nerve starts to pull back into the parasympathetic, rest, digest, and heal, we can start to hear our body again. And when we eat something and we have a reaction to that, we know that we have to, and we don't have to, but there's usually an addiction there that keeps you going back to that. Something in the food that was put in there, or uh, it's something that's driving you to that. I mean, restaurants are full of comfort food for a reason. And they're to get you in and get you out and get that food in you. So, and that's made with people that, I mean, there may be some chefs and cooks that in a restaurant situation that actually love to cook. But I would say many, probably the majority of them, they're just in there doing a job, and there's no energy going in the food that would comfort us and heal our bodies. Most of them are throwing things around, and if they're having a bad day, that bad day goes into that food because we are the energy. It's not like the most, how do I want to word that? The most powerful thing that we have is the energy in our body, and we're misusing it. We're taught to, we're trained to misuse that. because the largest part of our body, because that's what I'm trying to say, the largest part is the energy, because it's connected to everything. The body's just this little tiny thing that we're using as a vehicle to move us around through the world so we can get where we're going. And the body must do what the mind tells it. It doesn't have a choice. If you say sit down, your body will sit down. If you stand up, it will stand up. If you say eat this, it will eat it. It doesn't have a choice. And we forget that. We forget that we control the body. So to breathe and to relax and to hydrate and ground to the earth, it changes us electrically when we ground to the earth. And when they tell you to stand 6 feet apart, that's what they do to prisoners. Think about that. They're telling us, stay inside, stay out of the sun, don't breathe. Well, they don't say don't breathe. They just put us in a state of fight or flight where we're not conscious of our breath. And our stories, if we're in trouble, okay, we're looking for something to make us feel better. So we run out and we get a supplement, or we go to a doctor and we get a pill, or that whole thing is outside us. And to pull that back in is through the breath, because the breath is a connection, like I said, between the conscious and the subconscious mind, and it settles in the heart. And the vagus nerve is a frequency that either puts us in fight or flight, or rest, digest, and heal. And once we learn to breathe properly, the body will just automatically shift. That frequency goes into every cell in our body. When we think about breathing in a healthy breath to help our body heal, that's our story, right? I'm helping my body heal by breathing, and every cell gets that frequency. And that's how we get strong, and we get vitality, and we thrive in this life. And that is the test. All the things from the past, once we let go, we're in the now. There is no future, there is no past. It's only right now, and everything is happening right now. And we can control all of that if we get rid of the voices in our head from our past and what the media is telling us. You want to be scared? Turn the media on. And this new AI thing, that I watched a video the other day, and they're not going to be able, they're doing this right now. One guy wrote one sentence to an AI, and it created an entire video of this giant spaceship coming in and people running and screaming and it's the end of the world and all this stuff. That was all created, the whole visual thing. None of it was real. The news, the reporters, everything was fake, and you can't tell. So they're going to be able to do that. That's why we need to step away from the media, step away from the television.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not only the media, Gary. It's like what comes by on your YouTube channel,
mhm,
on Facebook, on your profile. You're looking at things and then you're like, is this real? Is this really
mhm,
happening? It's like, no, it's not happening. And it's like in a way you can't say, well, I don't care, whatever happens, happens. And it's like, well, but do you need to know? No, I don't think so. You only need to be aware of your life, what is directly
that's right.
around you. And but we're getting a little off track. And I absolutely love how you manage to always give us a little bit more information and always talk about the correct breeding, but giving us all constantly actually more information about why it is so important and how much it really regulates your life. So with the topic of supplements, I think we can end that with No, we don't need stick with the idea. It's isolated chemistry. Body doesn't recognize it. It's not what we should put in our life. So here you can save some money. But now we get to the other ones, and that is herbs. And I have a ton of books about herbs. I'm really always, since I was a teenager, have been into that, into what, what is edible, what can be used, what is toxic. And of course, we know Dr. Morse uses them a lot. I was going through a book. It's called Herbal Remedies, a concise reference to understanding and using herbal medicine, a quick and easy guide to common disorders and their herbal treatments. And we don't like the word treatments, but still, there is some great information in that, and I will pull it up on the screen and share that. It is written by Asa Hirschhoff and Andrea Rotelli. It's worth having it, and I saw a question from Julie. She said, I had a Dutch hormone test done. Not sure how I feel about all of the testing. My adrenals and DHEA are low, and I'm considering taking rhodiola in tincture form. Um, I don't know about rhodiola. I mean, it is from a plant, but I don't see the connection with adrenals and the DHEA. And I had not heard of the Dutch hormone test until a few days ago when a client sent me that, and I got to see what was all included. What do we think about tests? I think I go with what Dr. Moore said. The only thing we need to know if our kidneys are still doing, and it would be good to know the creatinine level, and for men, the PSA levels. And other than that, it varies. Your all the test levels, they can even vary by the hour or by the minutes. Same as when you take your blood pressure. You do it 3 times in a row with an interval of maybe a few minutes, and you get 3 different readings. So it is constantly changing. We don't put a lot of value on it. When somebody cannot pee anymore, and yeah, then we would like to see, okay, where is your creatinine level? But still, even if it would be really bad, what can you do? You already know that the medications were not really helping you or healing you. So we do what we always do. We look at what are we putting in our body and what should we leave out and what should we do to heal. It's always the same. And yeah, low adrenals, I think right now in the 6 years that I've been, almost 6 years that I've been doing this work, I have never seen somebody who didn't have weak adrenals. I mean, it is we all go through stress. There's a lot of stress in our lives, and it may not all be traumatic for everyone, but there are, yeah, you have to be on time somewhere, and now the traffic is against you, so you feel that way, and it's like nothing works out, and then you freak out. That's all stress. It's all acidic. It's not helping, and this is where Gary's breathing technique come in. You can do that, the deep breathing, you can do that anywhere. And I'm pretty sure, Gary, and I hope you agree with me, and I have been doing that with driving. Those deep breaths, you can always do that, and it always relax you. So to get specifically the rhodiola for that, no, I would first, before you even consider going the herbal way, because I actually do feel that if you keep your diet the way that you have been doing, and the pretty much the reason why you are not feeling well, why you have symptoms, you have to tackle that first. That it's first taking away the causes of your issues. And not use an herb as treatment. And even Dr. Moore said diet always comes first. He does talk about the correct breathing. I mean, there's a section in his book. He doesn't talk much about it in the videos, and we do it all the time because Gary just cannot help himself.
I can't.
It's like you said, it's 70% of detoxing. So I keep
Mm,
repeating that. You absolutely hear me. You would hear me say that several times during the day. So I definitely it taught me something.
yeah,
But
it's
yeah, first go to take go to the cause of what is going on in your body and listen to your body. Don't accept all these little things in like the aches and pains, and we talk about that often, like, oh, that is normal. No, that is your body talking to you. It's your body letting you know something is not quite right. So you need to change something. I'm going to pull up that, and in the meantime, whoever wants to say something. Um, okay, Julie says something. Thanks for addressing my comment. I'm dealing with a fragrance sensitivity that came up about a year after I was sick with a bad cold and swollen lymph nodes. Tried to getting a bottom of it. Well, it's quite easy. Your body is telling you now, no, we don't want that junk anywhere around us because it's all poison. It's all the fragrances. I think the only fragrance that would not hurt you comes naturally from a flower, from a rose. I have a little rose garden, and when I buy a rose, I'm sniffing. I go through the store sniffing.
mm, mm,
And I got some butterfly flowers, and they smell nice. And if I'm could be at Lowe's or wherever I am at the nursery, and I smell something really nice, it's like, okay, which flower is that? I want to have it. Those are the fragrances that are healing. All the other fragrances, they're like toxins, and if you had a cold, that means that you have been detoxing, and now your body got a lot of stuff out. It doesn't want to have stuff back in. Yeah, she says I don't use any fragrance, but the problem is I have to be out in the world at work and such, and people's fragrances overwhelm me. Yeah, yeah, I absolutely understand what you're going through. But and there's not, we cannot take anything so that your body would accept the fragrances anymore. It's like, okay, I got very good at not smelling anything in the sense as in my way of breathing at that time when that is around me. But yeah, I'm compared to you. I don't have to go out in people that I am around people other than on a farmer's market. And what I noticed was actually I barely smell anyone with additional or extra yeah, fragrances as in lotions or perfumes or whatnot. I think people are starting to use it less, and maybe it's a typical, would it be typical certain people go to farmers markets and they are more aware of what is healthy and natural and they don't use it as much anymore? What do you think?
yeah, I think that I wanted to go back to the artificial scents. They're all based in estrogen. They're all estrogen based. So soy is estrogen. Hops that makes beer is estrogen. The synthetic scents that were all around, they're all estrogen based. And then we wonder why our society is having the issues that they're having. It's emotional based, but also chemical invasion into our body, and the body doesn't know what to do with it because it's a synthetic. So you're right. When you smell roses and flowers, that's all natural scent, and those are healing. They're also like rose hip tea, or those are medicinal because they're organic, and they're trying to get us further and further away from as many organic things as they can. Uh, so that's the big challenge. Uh, so I'm not sure I answered your question, but I did want to say that everything is estrogen based these days.
I believe it's a certain type of, group of people that mainly hit up farmers markets for sure, and they are a little bit more aware, and that's why they are kind of there in the first place. I mean,
Mhm.
that's just kind of like a typical, I don't want to use the word judgment, but that's what I was thinking too. But yeah, I mean, I'm so sensitive to it. I can smell. We were at the grocery store and we were in the parking lot and I was like, wow, I can smell their air freshener. We were on motorcycles a couple nights ago and we pulled up behind a car and I was like, I can smell their laundry detergent. And they had
Wow.
their windows up. And I'm just like, this is insane. And of
Mhm.
course, I've said this before, we cruise around our neighborhood each night for my son. And I'm like, well, I know who's doing laundry today. And I mean, it's so strong. I just imagine I could never go into their house. And there's one more other thing I'll share with you. I have like one of those Cricut machines, and my son graduated this year, so I was making some graduation invites. And it has been at our cat house, and we had made candles years ago. I mean, years ago, but everything was still in that room, I guess, and it's just been closed off. Nobody has access to it, basically. I brought the Cricut home, and we couldn't have it in our house because it had absorbed any of the scents that were in that room. And so I had to cover it with towels and everything because even my husband was sensitive enough to it where the scents that it picked up from the fragrance that would have been used in candles, and I'm talking years ago, was still in there. And that's how much we picked up on it.
Yeah, another aisle that drives me crazy at the supermarket is the sugar aisle.
Oh, the
I
baking aisle.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is so overwhelming the scent of the how sweet it is because it's not like sugar anymore. It's like high fructose corn syrup or it's synthetic um, sugars and syrups and you can smell that stuff big time. Now, I never noticed that when I was a kid. That doesn't mean that there weren't people that could smell it like that, but my whole system was compromised. And now that I've cleaned it out some, I can't even go down those aisles. I mean, and when I walk by the end of them, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe how strong that is. And a lot of the sugars today are 300 times more sweet than what the old sugars were, man-made sugars. So, yeah.
That's the same with the bread aisles. That's
Mm.
nauseating.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about something, Julie, what you say, you can smell it everywhere too. It comes wafting out of the stores even before you go in. What if you can completely, well, can we say eradicate that you are sensitive to smells? Gary, we talked about that. Whatever
Mhm.
your mind is thinking about, it's happening.
Right. You're attuned to that frequency because that scent of that sugar is a frequency.
Well, not necessarily the scent of a frequency, any scent in general, because what Julie says, she is around people, they use all kinds of stuff,
Hmm.
and it's overwhelming her. But what if we can change something in your mind that you wouldn't be so overwhelmed or hurt by it,
You can do that through
by
EFT.
the thinking pattern changing?
Yeah, you can do that through EFT and breath work because you're changing your frequencies. Every breath is an opportunity to create a whole new life. Every breath. But it has to be in tune with what you want. Part of our frustration, our anger and things is subconsciously we know the life we want to live. Consciously, we're being bombarded with all this stuff, which is pulling us off course. And, you know, we end up, many people end up saying, well, it's just the way it is, or I can't have what I want, or that's all programmed. You can have anything you want in this world. You have to be in alignment with it and then let it go, and it will come to you. And that includes health, because most health is emotional. It's emotions trapped in the body, and it takes and all emotion comes in through the breath and all emotion leaves through the breath, and then moving the body through qigong and things like that, it's starting to pull those out, and we can blow that out of our body through our breath. inhaling through the nose and blow it out and pull it up. You don't even have to know what it is. If it does not serve your higher good, then you pull that frequency up and you get rid of it. And you can do that through grounding too. You just release any electrical issues in the body when you stand on the ground or lay on the ground, or if you have rubber sole shoes on, touch a tree. Just grab a tree and it will ground you. And it will pull all of the positive, because our body is negative electrically, just like the earth. It carries a negative electromagnetic charge. Well, all things in our body electrically are a positive charge that make us sick. So we can eliminate that through the earth, through the breath, through the hydration, and through live liquids and live foods.
Yeah, but now we know that the mind is very strong. It goes so far, and this is kind of hilarious, is that I was allergic to cigarette smoke, officially. Doctors told me I was allergic to cigarette smoke. So now, so I always stayed away from whatever and wherever smoking occurred. And back in the Netherlands, in all the restaurants and bars and everywhere, was not the case here in the United States as much as it was there. You could smoke everywhere. So I just stayed away. And, I was good, no problems over the years. And now I live in a house that has double pane windows. Now, in the next the house, I see my neighbor smoking. There's no way that smoke can come into my house. I smell it. I start coughing. So, and here is the hilarious part. Probably when I would see a smoker on TV, it would make me cough. That is how strong our mind is. Because you relate that that smoking, you relate that with the smell and your allergy, and you start coughing. And now everyone is quiet.
Yeah. Well, my mind was going back because
Probably a little crazy.
yeah, because well, I was stuck on a thought. There's something that I said was the sun turns cholesterol into K2. It doesn't. It turns it into D, and K2 is the driver that puts it into the system. So I just wanted to correct that. The sun will reduce cholesterol by turning that cholesterol into vitamin D, and then K2 is a driver for that. So anyway, uh, yeah, this whole supplement thing. I mean, just think about it. What was it? I think you posted a thing. It was $35 billion in 2022. Was that you that posted that? I read that somewhere. $35 billion will be spent on supplements in 1 year. That's a lot of cash.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows you how people are desperate or not desperate. The recording stop?
Yes, we just lost Toni.
Yes, I think we lost Toni.
All right. Well, no, not all right. But anyway.
I don't know. It says I am now the host.
Oh, okay. So we're still
Oh,
live?
what do I do?
So I don't know. We're still live, you think?
I don't know. Let me check. I mean, it looks like we are.
Okay.
It looks like we are.
All right. Well, we'll just keep talking. If we aren't, then it won't be there.
Apparently we are because I just made myself echo. So,
All right.
yep.
All right.
We'll keep going. Hopefully Toni comes back in.
All right. So yeah, most of our issues are emotional and they're trapped. I've been doing a lot of EFT massage, qigong, breath work with the people here in Colorado where I am, and we have so many knots in our body. We don't even know they're there. I have the I don't know, I guess the ability to see and feel them. and then I can go in and I can work those areas. And they didn't even know that those areas were sore, which is another odd thing. But that's what I mean when I say we've lost touch with our bodies. We're not feeling anymore. What's happening when we eat something or when we do something. And we need to wake up, and to do that, to turn up your metabolism to it, every cell in the body is energy. And when our energy lowers, they can't function properly. And how do we build that? Through our breath. It is the engine of the body. And, we think of the heart as the frequency that's everything. Well, what controls the heart rate variability is the vagus nerve and our breath. And the shallower we breathe, the more the body falls asleep and the mind goes out into the world looking for things to help it, when all it is breath and hydration. And our food system is obviously suffering right now, but we can't allow that thought pattern to come into our frequency, to come into our aura. If I say I'm going to eat this, even though I know it's bad for me, well, your body's listening. So it's already building a defense against what you're eating. And it usually ends up hurting you, but you don't know why. And it's because you're not in alignment with the food you need to help your body heal. And it's different for everybody. It's like our fingerprint. It's different. And it might be close, but until we really start to pay attention, breathe, feel, and imagine the possibilities for our future, we're going to be stuck. And most of this food is addictive. It has chemicals in it that make us addicted to it. That's why it's so hard to break some of this stuff. And even if you do break it, sometimes people fall back into it later because the addiction is still there. We haven't addressed it. So, okay, I'll stop talking right there. Somebody jump in quick. Is anybody out there?
I'm still here. Katie, do you want to say anything?
I don't really have much to say because I don't use supplements, and I've tried using herbs, but they just don't agree with me right
Mm.
now.
Yep.
But the ones that I have had that I've used, like Dr. Morse, I've seen them working, but then sometimes I'm just like, ooh, I just actually, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I know they're working because they don't always make me feel good, well, that's my body detoxing. So
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, they don't really agree with my body. And then I'm like, wait a minute, Katie, you're detoxing. And when you're going through a detox, you don't feel good. There is a point where you will start to feel good, but when you first start off, you don't feel good. And yesterday I found an old video. I don't know if you know the fruitarian John Rose. He
Hmm.
was on Houston, Texas, ABC 13 on January 11th in 2000. And he was telling them about the fruitarian diet and how he's been fruitarian for 26 years. And one of the co-producers of the show decided to do a 3-day fast with the lemon water with the maple syrup. And she and her husband did it, and it was hilarious. But because they're like, we're so miserable. We want to eat. And I'm just now thinking, that's me when I am doing herbs with Dr. Moore.
Hmm.
Because
So,
it's working.
yeah, and think about this. How many people take vitamins or supplements that detox? I don't know of any.
No,
Right.
because they're not eating they're not following, they're still putting toxins in their body. So that's where I don't get it either. It's like, actually, I had this conversation with my mom. She said, "Well, I'm going to go ahead and start these herbs." And I said, "Well, okay." I said, "But are you going to clean up your diet, or are you going to just keep putting crap in and then hope the herbs just try to take care of you?" And then she's like, "Oh, I see what you're saying." I'm like, "Yeah, if you're going to keep shoveling, what in, then you're going to keep getting, what out." And so, Tony came back in, if
Yep, I
y'all
saw him.
didn't see. Welcome back, Tony. And we have a question about what about vitamin B12? And I've never been a fan of the supplement. I think you should go out and touch the trees. I believe that the trees carry B12 and you can absorb it through your hands. And, just technically B12 is the cows go out and they eat the grass, they get it from the dirt, and then we slaughter the cow to get the B12 out of the meat. But yet your body has to go in and digest all of that other pus and rancid, rotting stuff in order just to pull some B12 out.
Yeah, you
So,
want to know the best sources for B12?
hmm
It's actually sunflower seeds, comfrey leaves, kelp, bananas, and Concord grapes. The beautiful dark black Concord grapes. These
hmm
are the best sources of B12.
And I'm not that, I hate saying like I'm not that clean because I am, but like it's dirt. I mean, I know I don't know everything that's been in my yard, but I don't spray. We don't use chemicals. We don't use, all that stuff. So, I mean, it's just a little dirt. And I know we all ate dirt as kids. I mean, who didn't? But
Hmm.
I'm sure I get more dirt than most people because,
It was all normal, Sarah.
yeah,
It's like, and still, I mean, I have berries growing here. I'm not gonna wash them off.
yeah. I, I, I'm guilty of eating them as soon as I get them. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's my own risk, so to each their own. And I'm guilty of, I was giving my horse really good scratches on his belly and everything, and my hands were all dirty, and I just ate.
Hmm.
And you know what? If you would get anything in, that your body will detox it out again.
Yeah.
And whatever is not good, it's not that it will make you sick. Well, in a way, if you detox and you do feel sick, it's just something that needs to come out. I mean, I think throughout our lives, we all experience at some point, and what is it? What do you call that? When you get sick from, when you get, I was going to say when you get sick from food, but you go into a restaurant, you eat some food, you get sick. Food poisoning. There it is.
Yes, that would be it. Yep.
And I've had it, and the weird thing was, this is a long, long time ago. I was with a group of people. We were traveling, and it was late. It was at like 11, and stopped at a pizza place, and he ordered one big pizza. We all ate from it, and I got violently ill, really bad. The other guy didn't have a problem at all. And I never throw up. Well, with this, it was my body was whatever you put in, it's going to come out now. I was as sick as a dog for like 2, 3 days, and then it was over, and I felt great again. So it was something that maybe these other guys, Americans, I mean, this was my first time here, and I was not used to that kind of food or whatever was in there, and my body had a big, absolutely not, so got rid of it. So, and that is what happens too with we were all like, oh, you touch this, you need to wash your hands. I've never been big on that, not as a kid either. And we did not have a farm, but I could pretty much say I grew up on a farm because we lived right next door and we spent all our times on the farm. And these people were not like you constantly have to wash your hands. And nobody really got sick.
I don't. I mean, I remember we would have to clean up when we would come in at night. You get your bath and you'd have to clean
Hmm.
up or wash up. But, nobody ran around and washed their hands all day. And if you did, you might rinse them off in the hose, but nobody used soap. And we definitely didn't have antibacterial soap back then. Or maybe we did because they always had that one yellow soap. Um, that I don't know. But anyway, we never had that soap, so. So we have Alka Frequency is saying John Rose taking B12 supplements. Some people do, some people don't. Feels like it's 50-50. And if this is the John Rose I'm thinking about, I think he went a different path now. Is that the best way to put it?
He's still on all fruit.
Oh, he is? Okay, so this is
Oh
not
yeah,
the same John
absolutely.
Rose
He
I'm
does a
thinking
lot
of.
of videos. So there are a lot of videos by him on, and also he talks about fasting. He's still on fruit.
Okay, good. Then
And
I it's
he
somebody else
looks
I'm
good.
thinking
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, he does a lot of exercises, but I've never heard him talk about taking any supplements. I
Yeah.
think everyone who is on this way of living, they know what we need.
Right. And any supplement, though, just keep in mind is it's heavily processed. I mean, they have to. How else are they going to get it into pill form? How else are they going to whatever? So just be very aware. Maybe you check to see how you're feeling, that kind of thing. Like everything is about like, I don't want to say because it is the one truth, but I mean, it's still the way your body's going to react to things because everybody has eaten different ways, lived in different environments, done different things. So, yeah, he said he takes 5,000 milligrams 2 times a week in his videos, is what he's saying.
Oh,
So,
okay. I have not heard that.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't take supplements, but I mean, this is my body and what I've, researched and studied. I am not a doctor. I can only speak from my own research and what I have looked into. I'm not a naturopath either. Um, but I just get it from my fruits, and I haven't had meat in so many years. I mean, I'm talking decades. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we still say everything we share here is for entertainment
Yeah.
purposes only.
Unfortunately, we have to say that.
Yes. And this is for entertainment purposes only. But to think about a system that's trying to take care of us, and most people are running to it well, let's say I'm not big on percentages, but this is a percentage they're throwing out there. 70% of the people in America right now are in a chronic state of dis-ease of some kind.
Oh, I bet it would be more than that. But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would actually think it's about 100% because there's no really healthy person,
Mm-mm.
not children that are 100% healthy, but
Yeah.
maybe they are not being considered as having a disease because they didn't go to a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
like
right,
like I don't go to a doctor. But and I rather not give any symptom in my body a name that they came up with and then
right,
tell you, it's not, you cannot cure it. So, oh yeah, that's another word we cannot use. Okay,
right.
I pulled
Well,
on on the screen the gift of herbs. Now, this comes from and I think I started mentioning that before my Wi-Fi dropped completely. This comes from a book. It's called Herbal Remedies from Asa Hershoff and Andrea Rotelli. There was so much information in there, and I was like, my God, so what am I going to share of this? And I'm like, the book is not expensive. And what it also does, it gives you like what herbs to use, what can help you with fatigue. Now, the thing is, I don't like to use herbs as a treatment, so we have to be careful with that. Because I found that on 100% fruit, and some greens, I have the energy that I need. I had it also, and you wouldn't think that would be even possible because I wasn't barely eating and no calories or very few, was on the master cleanse. And I had a ton of energy. I needed less sleep. And now I'm eating more, and I found that I need to sleep more. So be aware, the herbs can be helpful, and don't take them for the rest of your life. Like, it's like for sleeping. Um, I like to drink lemon balm. I like the taste of the lemon balm tea, and I add a little lavender because I like the smell of lavender. And but even I have to be careful not to use it as a crutch to fall asleep easier, because there's a reason that you don't sleep as well. And Gary has shared with us many times about the correct breathing to easier fall asleep. So don't really use it as a treatment, but just as an addition to your healthy foods, your healthy way of living. But anyway, this book has a lot of herbs related to certain circumstances. I think one was important is for anemia, low iron. But then we have to ask, okay, what is the cause? Always, always go back to what is the cause? Why do you have what is going on in your body? It's not like, okay, I'm low in iron, now I need to take extra iron pills. I know my mother did that throughout her life,
Mhm.
and I was told to do it, and but I was more like, okay, but why do I have low iron? So what this book gave, that was actually one of the first one that they did scan, and um, it's lacking in your food, and there may be something in your body that is not working 100%. How can we get it to a point that it works better, and that you don't have the what is it? What is the word? Not that you don't have enough.
Lack.
No, yeah, well, that you could say lack of vitamins, but I was looking for another word. But anyway, there are things like with anemia, you can take, well, ashwagandha, that is often helpful when you, isn't that with low adrenals? But always go to why are your adrenals low? And then we go back to the food. So it's like everything like works together. And I find myself now sounding like a nutcase. It's like I'm telling you to take one thing, and then I'm telling you to not really use it as a treatment. Anyway, if you are at a point that you do feel bad because you have low iron, then nettle can help. Raspberry leaf. Gary, you mentioned that yesterday. Raspberry leaf is
Yep.
something.
Raspberry leaf is
Hawthorn is one. Gentian is one. Red root, Siberian ginseng, yellow dock, dong quai, Codonopsis. Never heard of that one. And of course, Dr. Morse talks about that a lot. Alfalfa.
hmm
So that is all good for getting more iron in your body while you are, well, let's say it that way, while you are healing your body, in to a point it's like you take that, no, you take that for a few months. That's it, not longer. And then you reevaluate, how is my diet. I have this little sheet that says detox diary, where you write down, okay, what did I eat? And you gotta be specific, not saying, yeah, I ate healthy. No, you ate, what did you eat? How much did you drink? How did you feel? What is your positive thought for the day? Every day come up with a positive thought for the day. Do that in the morning. But then you get a better connection to how your body is responding to things, because you write that down too. You had breakfast in the afternoon, you have a headache, then you can look back, okay, did I drink enough? We were talking about it, what is helping when you have a headache? Is it the aspirin or the painkiller you take,
water.
or is it that glass of water?
hmm
And we personally always found, because we don't take painkillers, but we do take that glass of water, it was always helping. It's just dehydration and low oxygen, with your shallow breathing. It's simple, everything is really simple, and we make it too difficult. Anyway, my computer is doing things that I wasn't ready for. I already,
Well,
where the heck
Tony,
is
oh, well, Tony, while you're getting your computer to work, I love like what we're saying, what you guys are saying about we're not meant to take the herbs over and over and over again. You take them for a time. And that's the same with detoxing. You do it.
exactly? Yeah,
You do for a little while, and then you just eat regularly, not thinking about it, and then you get back to detoxing. It kind of reminds me how like you change your oil in your car to make it run smoothly. You're not constantly changing the oil. Same with, maybe once a week you do a good thorough cleaning in your house. The other days you do okay, but then you need a good thorough cleaning of your house. So it's the same thing with your body, and that's what detoxing is. Detoxing is doing that thorough cleansing, but you don't do it every single day because you'll do more harm than good maybe to your body. So I just wanted to throw that out there since we were talking about it, because I sometimes when people start awakening to this, they go all in on detoxing and they keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And I'm like, no, no, no,
Right.
no, you're gonna overstress your body. So,
Yeah, you need to find a balance.
right.
But it is like to get to the detox, I would say yes, you transition. It's like the pyramid that we're using. You transition from your standard diet to all raw, and then it's like more fruit, no oils, definitely no cooked foods, and then the all fruit, then maybe the juices, then you do a fast, and then you go back again. Same way as you went up, you go down. But now it is like, do not go down to the lower level of that pyramid where it has all the standard foods, because you never want to go there again. Do I suggest to stay on an all raw diet? Yeah, absolutely. Is it feasible for everyone? No, it's not. And we may not want to do that. We may want to have that once in a while cooked meal, but be aware the once in a while can easily become an everyday thing. And then, but then it is still is if you feel that is, I go with how it works for me. When I eat everyday cooked food, it only takes a few days before I'm back in pain. So then I know that is not the food that I should be eating. I'm doing the best on all fruit with some greens, and that is what I should stick to. Can you eat? Well, we go back to that once in a while. That's why I have that mucusless foods list, and it is mucuslessfoods.com, and it opens up in a PDF. In that PDF, you have in green all the foods that you can eat while detoxing. And from 1 till 7, you have all the foods that you eat for transitioning and later after the detox for maintenance. And you go by how your body feels. And that is why I say write it down so you know how your body responds. And that is how you can find a balance. Now, I'm aware that many people need the day to day. Day one you do this, and after 3 months you do this. I feel that it's you know your body better than any book writer, and especially me, could ever know. But you need to learn to listen to that. And Gary mentioned that earlier too. We don't do that. And if you feel like you ate something that you thought was good and you get bloated, don't eat it. Don't eat it anymore. Don't complain about it. Just don't put it in your body, and then eat something else. Figure out what works for you. Figure out what foods you feel the best on. I can tell you, Sarah absolutely loves oranges. I like it too. I don't like it every day. I don't like it the whole day, but once in a while and with good oranges, absolutely. And that is how you go about your life, because we can tell you what to eat, but it wouldn't be right, because not everybody, you are at different health levels, and not everybody responds the same to those foods. So, but
Okay.
that is why I think that mucusless foods list is a great guidance, and it also shows all the few foods that is mucus forming, and those are the foods that you want to stay away from or absolutely limit. And I will never say oh no, this is not allowed on this diet. Everything is allowed, but it's your own responsibility. You need to learn how you feel on certain foods, and if it does you any good. If it's not doing you any good, figure out another food. Okay, sorry, Katie, for interrupting you, but I had to get this out again.
Right. And like, I love what you said because I just recently watched a video and the gentleman that was speaking was talking about, I have been doing this for many years. So I might, let's say there's a scale of 1 to 10. I might be a 10, and you that are just starting, you're at a 1. So you can't just like jump into this detoxification process thinking that you're going to go straight to level 10.
Yeah.
You need to start at 1. And that's the most wonderful thing about the detoxification pyramid that you were talking about. So I just found that very fascinating that that's what you were saying. And I had just watched this video about this guy explaining, level 1, level 10. You can't just jump into a 10 if you're at a 1. So anyways, just wanted to share
Yeah,
that.
that
Thank
that
you.
is actually very good that you mentioned that, Katie, and maybe we can draw something up, and really with levels from 1 to 10, that would actually be good. And because it's easy for me to say, oh, week 1 you leave out this, week 2 you leave out that, but that may not be the case. I took maybe a year to transition to all fruit, and I know of a lady who could do it the next day. I don't ever tell people to do that because you will get a lot of it's shocking your body. So I'm like, no, don't do that unless what Dr. Moore say, you have cancer, you have to go all in and do it right away. But other than that, especially to make it consistent in your life, because you never go back to how you were eating before. That's the whole thing. So you just yeah, you have a maintenance and you find a balance that you are happy with. And it's not the easiest thing to do. I mean, we've been at it for years now, and um, yeah, I pretty much do have yeah, I pretty much have a balance, although I deviate from it once in a while.
The one thing I wanted to mention, because we're talking about kidneys and adrenals, your pancreas, your process, right? It takes 60% of our energy, available energy, to digest a meal. Well, if you're only producing, and this is what is flattening the adrenals. If your body is only producing like 70 or 80% of its capability to produce energy, the body is smart enough, and we see this all the time, you'll fall asleep. The body's smart enough to realize it doesn't have enough energy to digest the food and let you do your daily activity or nightly activity, whatever it is. So the body will shut you down and put you to sleep. It's called a food coma. The deeper you go, some people drool and all kinds of things. And as the body becomes available, you start to wake up from that food coma. Alcohol will do the same thing because it's sugar. All man-made sugars are they lower the body's ability to produce energy. Now, raw sugars and sugars in fruits, berries, melons, uh, and even some vegetables, that sugar will actually increase your energy. So this is part of not just knowledge, but feeling your body. When you're drained, I mean, you feel it. You're tired. That's because your body's not producing enough energy. And that is diet, hydration, movement, moving slower, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, slowing the mind down. As the mind slows down, the body builds energy because the mind is stealing it. The mind is a massive thief. If it needs calcium, it's going to take it. Whatever it needs, it's going to go in and it's going to steal it from the body because it's the godfather of the body. And whatever it needs, it's going to take. So if we're not putting things in to help the body and feed the mind will destroy the body all on its own. So these are things we have to be very aware of and very careful of. It's the adrenals and the pancreas that digest and take care of insulin because they're producing enzymes and putting out into the body to help digest the food. Well, most of our food is so dense and there's no life in it. It doesn't have any enzymes, so it's putting the whole burden on the pancreas and the adrenals. And over years, some people just months, your adrenals will start to get weaker and weaker. And once you change your diet, part of the Master Cleanse that makes it so amazing is it's pre-digested. It has enzymes, has electrolytes, it has minerals, it has everything you need, including proper hydration. And when it goes into the body, the energy it would take to go digest the food is now available to go and heal the body. That's why we feel good when we're on the Master Cleanse. And as far as like herbs go, uh, so let's say you got, I don't know, let's say just say dandelion. Well, you do that. Let's say you bought an ounce and it lasts 3 weeks or whatever it lasts, right? You don't do dandelion again after that. You might move to raspberry leaf or skullcap or something like that, and you do that for 2 or 3 weeks, and then maybe you go to marshmallow leaf, which is great for the digestive system. And the other thing is, like dandelion, it doesn't do just one thing. None of these herbs do. They do an amazing amount to help the entire body heal, not just like dandelion is a bitter, so it's good for the liver, it's good for the kidneys. Well, it's good for like 100 other things too. It's that and echinacea are the two most powerful herbs I've found, dandelion and echinacea. So,
Interesting. I've been using echinacea once in a while since I was a teenager.
mm-hmm,
And both dandelion too was growing everywhere, although in the
mm-hmm,
Netherlands it is absolutely the worst weed. That is what everybody considered it, the worst weed.
mm-hmm,
I had it, growing, including nettle, growing all over my yard. And those were exactly the two herbs that I needed.
mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. There's something else with herbs. If you have a yard, even a small yard around your house, and a certain herb is growing, it's or whatever, if you want to call it a weed, fine. But if something is growing there very persistently, look up what it is. You may need it.
Yes, and if you go outside in your bare feet, because nature is always seeking balance, you go outside in your bare feet, nature is reading you, and it will grow uh, in your
That's
yards the
probably
herbs
why
you
it is.
need.
Yeah, that's probably then why it is growing then.
Yeah.
Because I've had that happen and I've seen that over and over. And here I haven't been able to identify it yet, but I have a very persistent plant that keeps growing everywhere, in every pot and in every crack
Mm.
between stones. That's quite amazing.
Yeah, and so that's how powerful we are. See, because we're the energy of the universe, and the universe is reflecting back on us our story. So when we change our story, we change our cellular vibration, and we do it all the time. We just don't know it. If you had a relationship that went bad, you go through that period there where, well, some people do, where they're devastated. Some people feel free. That's just their mental attitude and ability and their breath. But to take that and go outside and let the universe experience your body, and you're staying in one area long enough, and I had this happen. Plantain started, broadleaf plantain, not the banana but the herb. And if you want to know the herbs that are really good for you, go buy a bottle of Roundup and look on the back of the bottle. There'll be a picture of dandelion, plantain, and all these different medicinal herbs that they've
Yeah,
convinced us are weeds.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they love,
yeah.
dandelion loves bad soil. And when it gets done uh, nutrifying that soil in that area, the dandelion will move off, and mullein will do the same thing. It loves bad soil, and it brings nutrition up through the roots, and it starts to heal the soil in that area, and then it moves on.
I bought a dandelion plant on a farmer's market. I cannot get it to grow here. It grows where she lives. She has a farm. It's about 30 miles away from here. More of a lot of water there, and it's not growing where I am at. It
Hmm.
just doesn't want to do it.
Hmm.
Anyway, we are at 1:30 now, and I have another meeting coming up, so I have to close this podcast. I had on the screen, I don't know if people were able to read it. It's a part of the book, The Gift of Herbs, and why you could use the herbs. It's like it's natural, although he says, in spite of his overuse and hype, here the word natural has a genuine meaning. It can be effective, it's holistic, it's synergistic, it's safe, it's consistent, non-suppressive, family-based medicine, multiple choice, cost-effective, and environmental. If you want me to send you this, or you want know what kind of yeah, we go into the treatments idea again, but what herbs would be best if you have like herpes or anemia, or what I hear lately a lot is hives. A lot of people have hives, even here local people I know. They got hives. So then just let me know, and I can tell you what herbs would be helpful for you. But of course, always look at drink enough, breathe correctly, and look at your diet. So I want to thank everyone for being here, and Gary, Sarah, and Katie. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking it over when my Wi-Fi failed again. And I was happy that everything was still going on, even without with me as the host not being there. It's quite
It
amazing.
popped over to me for some reason, and so it
Okay.
just kept going. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. We know that works now then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Okay.
I would say
Thank you.
much love to you all, and till the next time.
Thank you all.
All right. Love you.
Bye. Love you
Bye.
all. Bye bye.